Another thing to be thought about as a preliminary matter is the scope of the court order. Do you need an order which relates to more than the land which is actually occupied? If you have travellers who are in occupation, say, of part of a field, it's no good getting a possession order relating only to the part of the field which they're on, because they're simply going to shuffle off to the other part of the field, or indeed, potentially into an adjacent field through a gate. And if you've got part of a site which is occupied, you can get a possession order in respect of the whole site. For example, University of Essex and Jamal, where there was a student sit-in, and the sit-in was in certain university campus buildings, and the university succeeded in getting an order relating to the entire campus. What happens when they come back? So if they subsequently return, what you can do depends upon which enforcement route you've taken and how much of the enforcement process has been completed by the time that they left. So if the trespassers left after an order for possession had been made, but before a writ of possession had been issued, then the procedure rather depends upon how long has passed since the date of the order. I said that an order for possession is valid for 3 months. If there's a reoccupation within that 3-month window after the order for possession has been made, then you can just issue a writ of possession immediately. If the 3-month period has expired, then you would need the court's permission to issue the writ of possession. A straightforward process, and it saves quite a number of days as opposed to starting proceedings right from the outset. Then it gets more useful if the stage you got to on the previous occupation is the travellers vacated after the writ of possession had been issued, but it hadn't actually been executed by the enforcement agents, and that's quite common. Now, a writ of possession can be executed at any time within 12 months of the date of the issue. So if the trespassers come back to the site within that 12-month period, then they're gone within hours. You simply hand the writ of possession to the enforcement officers and say go. And then you've got an extremely happy client. And I remember a situation exactly like that where we'd recovered possession from a site. The client called up after a couple of weeks and said they're back. And that was at about 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. By 8 o'clock on the Friday evening, the client had possession of the site back because we'd simply passed the writ of possession to the enforcement officers, and they'd happened to be available. They'd gone down there straight away and got possession back. You can imagine a very, very happy client in those circumstances.